Good. Have a good day. You're dismissed. Goodbye.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wolvie channel. I got a video for you, man. This is, man, they just keep coming in. People keep sending me these videos in their area, and we keep seeing the lies, the manipulation, and the lack of investigative integrity to actually move forward to what is clearly deprivation of rights under the color law, felony assaults, conspiracies, just tons and tons and tons of evidence that is using the quorum of preponderance of the evidence. We would know this, because if it was us being charged with, or us being projected that this happened with the deputies saying that what we did, it would be a totally different situation. They would be prosecuting the hell out of us. These people would testify against us, etc., etc., etc. But guess what? It don't happen. And the justice, just because these deputies got fired, I'm going to show you inside this video what really matters. And I want you guys to pay attention to this part right here, because this part right here is just, it's the cake. This is not the icing. This is their qualified immunity, ladies and gentlemen. This is what backs the average person's qualified immunity when they get in these positions. And there's just there's no excuse that somebody can give that could take away these factors. There just isn't. I want you guys to listen to this part right here. Okay? Because basically what they're doing is saying that they're going to cover for each other, and they all had that understanding. Listen very closely as these people commit their conspiracy and the ongoing conspiracy of the blue line, wall of tyranny, and how they are guaranteed to, if they get themselves in a situation, and if they tell the truth, their truth, if they find a way out of this, that they'll help them and conspire to bring them out. But see, we know that's what they're saying. Us, the Wolvie family, knows that, but the public at large, they believe that crap. Listen to this crap right here.
Questions in the IA summary, Meyer and Davidson don't believe they should have been fired.
And it was always projected at the sheriff's office that if you get into something and you get called into IA, or you get called in by a supervisor, and if you tell them the truth and you tell them this is why, that they will take care of you.
You hear that? Do you hear that? He just told on all of them. Now, if I was that judge and heard that, if I was that jury and heard that, that's the nail in the coffin right there when it comes to conspiracy. A does not have to know what C's doing as long as B gets it accomplished. He's B, because he was dependent upon something that was not entered into evidence and falsifying documentation, and that is what he's talking about. Falsifying facts, okay? And in the state of Michigan, that's a 15-year felony to lie on a citation or any other thing. Besides that, we get sick of this crap because this is what we see all the time. We get sick. Don't you guys get sick of seeing this? I mean, honestly, you bootlickers out there, you attack these 1A guys, and they're coming up with the facts. You know I'm not anti-cop. You know a police officer saved my life. Why am I sitting here backstabbing them? That's what they would call it, right? Because I got transparency behind my name. This is a lie. They're liars. They're deceivers. They're manipulators. And yet the public at large allows them to exist in the manner that they do. And you don't call out their mannerisms. So we have to be extreme in how we talk to them. You can't respect this. Who in their right mind is going to respect knowing what's behind, knowing the truth? If you believe in the truth and you're a human being like me, you would understand. Wait a minute. Yeah, first responders, they saved my life, but they beat this guy down. They accused him of resisting arrest. They broke his jaw. They fractured his skeleton. They broke his nose. His Adam's apple was fractured. What? For what? Because he wouldn't leave public property? Because you're got your panties all in a bunch and you don't like somebody telling you no? Something, man. Something's wrong with you. If you believe that that's okay, you're a narcissistic oppressor and you don't give a damn about it. And whatever you deserve, back to blue until it happens to you. I'm going to let this video play out because the Wolvie family knows what we do. You know? And this is an investigation that was already done. And they're now the DA is looking to prosecute. So without further ado, let's watch it together.
A former sergeant and a former deputy from the Lee County Sheriff's Office break their silence and explain what they say happened during an arrest that got them and another deputy fired. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lois Tomey.
I'm Chris Safadi. Sheriff Carmine Marcino announced their terminations on Facebook in October, writing, quote, "Use of force was not properly reported and documented." Sergeant Christopher Meyer and Deputy Bradley Davidson were both fired for conduct unbecoming a law enforcement officer, untruthfulness in reports, and for lack of job knowledge and performance. On top of that, Meyer was also fired for improper use of force. Marcino claimed a criminal investigation is underway, but did not answer our questions about it. Wink News investigative reporter Celine MacArthur digs into the arrest that led to the firings and has the video that's at the center of this investigation.
Look at Sheriff Carmine Marcino's Facebook post, and you'll also see he shut down your ability to comment or ask questions.
Now, let's stop it right there. Now, that right there, we all know that as obstruction. It's another form of obstruction, and it's prior restraint. Okay? They continue to not see the reason why us people that they call auditors or redress, whatever you want to call us. I consider myself a journalist. Here's my journalistic ID. It's real. It's affirmed. It's the same thing that Don Lemon and what's his name have a part of that union. Anyways, making a long story short, along with the Daily News and the United States Press Corps. Yes, I am a member. So that don't mean nothing though. That they're only good for one thing. When they have private events and they say you don't have no credentials and they're inviting the press in, I can get in with that. That's why I have that. That's the only reason why I have that, guys. But going back to the facts here, listen to these bootlickers explain, and cop explain, and then, you know, it's really easy to disseminate what's going on here. The truth is that they're covering up a crime, and these guys got caught, and the union is on the fence about it, and they're either going to throw them to the dogs once they'll probably throw them to the dogs, because once the investigation finds out that everything they said is conjecture, everything they said is hearsay about the guy and the past and him being drunk and him being in fights, that don't matter. That has nothing to do with this situation. That's a character witness. So what? He drinks, big whippy. So what? He acts like a rear end at times. Who doesn't? I know people sober to act like rear ends.
I wanted to learn more, but LCSO won't release the case file because there's an open criminal investigation. I also asked LCSO for an interview with the sheriff, but they have not provided me with an answer. In the meantime, I
Why
do
would
have
they?
an exclusive copy of the internal affairs summary for former Sergeant Christopher Meyer. He says he gave it to me to back up his story about what happened to 45-year-old Corey Samick.
So let's take a look at this right here. You see this? His jaw's literally fractured. His eye socket is fractured. There's something wrong with his swallowing issues and everything. But before I go on, I want to welcome the people I have in here. Appreciate y'all coming up and watching. Wolvie, Acity, what's up? If I'm saying it right, forgive me. If I'm not saying it right, forgive me. Jonathan, love you. What is that? Tot P, what up? Mike in, what up? What up? In qualified immunity. If I messed up the title, forgive me. I'm just another Peckerwood trying to, get a story out. My fault. I'll fix it later. Thanks, though. Seek and destroy audits. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Hey, pigs under pressure. It's about time you come and visited me. I watch your stuff all the time, buddy. Love you, brother. Anyway, moving on. In qualified immunity, most dangerous event, most people are police interactions. Please teach your kids that police are liars and yes, and that bootlickers too. Don't forget the bootlickers. Bootlickers are the worst. They enable that narcissistic behavior. Randall, what's up? I hope everybody had an ex-bootlicker. I see you there, buddy. Let's see. Ramrod, what? I can't see that, man. My glasses suck. Blind Justice, what's up? Dimples, what's happening? Spot on Check News, what's up? Uncle Krusty, I see you guys. I see you. Northwest News, what up? What up? What up? All right, I'm moving forward because this video is a little long and there's a lot that I want to break down in it because, from my point of view and what the law taught me when I was getting my paralegal degree is that there's a quorum to things. And if these quorums are not followed, and if you go out of procedure, you set yourself up to be, and you lose your case. And this is where you go wrong and you should be fired just because of that. Because you're not keeping good records and you're not a professional, and this is why that qualified immunity sucks, because they realize that they can get away with anything. And this is why they continue to exploit their supremacy on you. Moving forward.
During the arrest that got him fired. It's 2 a.m. August 17th. LCSO deputies Alexander Ritchie and Brad Davidson are on the scene of a traffic stop near this gas station at Kingston Drive and Palm Beach Boulevard in Tice. Sergeant Meyer drives up to check on them.
Hey, guys, before I go on to that, did them showing you in suits, was that like a bootlicker thing? Like, the better you look, the more innocent you are? I don't know. I see, this is what I got problems with mainstream media, All right, I'll shut up.
Hear yelling in the background, like people yelling at each other. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Meyer says Samick, who appears drunk, approaches them carrying an open can of the alcoholic beverage, Twisted Tea.
In Deputy Ritchie's face, cursing him out, yelling at him. He's continuing to threaten to fight me.
Telling us to take our vests off, telling us to take our gun belts off, and wanting to fight us in the middle of the street.
Probably because you guys were exploiting your supremacy over him, thinking that you had authority when you didn't.
Meyer asked Samick to leave.
We typically try not to arrest people for very minor county ordinance if we can help it.
Right. What happened is you guys were trying to, I'm going to prove this, that they were not called. I'm going to prove it here in a second. Because remember, he's at the gas station. All right. He's walking up behind the gas station. Remember that.
So we're trying to get rid of this guy.
Gas station, food mart, beer store, whatever. It's all the same.
Just telling him to move on, get out of here, leave us alone.
Samick won't go. Meyer goes into the gas station to see if the night manager wants him removed.
Did you hear that? He goes in to see if the night manager wants him removed. That is called a solicit. He is soliciting a trespass, meaning nobody called him. This cop just happened to be there. You know how they hang out, drink their coffee, and they see this dude and they want to screw with somebody. And that's exactly what happened. And the sergeant was so freaking bored. He says, I'm going to go check on these guys. La-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, pulls up in here. Oh, I hear some yelling. No, that's not what happened. He's seen the whole situation. I'm going to articulate this the way I see it, because I can't believe a word they say. They're liars. And the Supreme Court has given them the permission to lie. So I give you the permission to having your own judge of character. If you have a 2-year degree or more in law like I do, please connect the dots using what their rules. What's more likely than not likely? Let's use the laws of preponderance of the evidence. And that is what I'm going to do.
From the property. The sergeant gets a yes to the trespass, but still can't.
He gets a yes to the trespass, ladies and gentlemen. There's a surprise, because the bootlicker is scared. They're automatically intimidated from this guy that looks like he should be in Afghanistan somewhere. He's got so many weapons on him. You don't know what to think.
Can't convince Samick to leave.
I go, if you don't go, you're going to jail. That's the last warning. After that, I have to do something. And he continues.
Basically, he was telling them to go F themselves. I'm a free man. I don't need you guys to tell me what to do. That's all that's happening here. Attempted cop. Because you wouldn't get a butt whooping like this if you didn't get on somebody's nerves, which is not unlawful. It might be illegal because that's a corporate word. See, if you guys are going to follow me and listen to me, you're going to learn that law is broke down into 2 categories. It's either directive policy or operating standard procedure. Directive policy is constitutional law. Operating standard procedure is corporate law. The corporate law gives them a little bit more room to make their operating standard procedure in how they rewrite it and rewrite their policies. That is why you'll see in the middle of this that ass whooping that they gave this guy was what? According to the policy, which is unlawful. It might be legal, but it's unlawful. Son of a bitch. There I go again.
Year-old Corey Samick during the arrest that got him fired. It's 2 a.m. August 17th. LCSO deputies Alexander Ritchie and Brad Davidson are on the scene of a traffic
I'm going to show that
stop near
again.
this gas station at Kingston Drive and Palm Beach Boulevard in Tice. Sergeant Meyer drives up to check on them.
I hear yelling in the background, like people yelling at each other. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Meyer says Samick, who appears drunk, approaches them carrying an open can of the alcoholic beverage, Twisted Tea.
In Deputy Ritchie's face, cursing him out, yelling at him. He's continuing to threaten to fight me.
Telling us to take our vests off, telling us to take our gun belts off, and wanting to fight us in the middle of the street.
Meyer asks Samick to leave.
We typically try not to arrest people for very minor county ordinance if we can help it. So we're trying to get rid of this guy. Just telling him to move on, get out of here, leave us alone.
Samick won't go. Meyer goes into the gas station to see if the night manager wants him removed from the property. The sergeant gets a yes to the trespass, but still can't convince Samick to leave.
I go, if you don't go, you're going to jail. That's the last warning. After that, I have to do something. And he continues. I'm not leaving.
What happens next is captured on the gas station's surveillance camera. Meyer tells me he went back 4 days later with his personal cell phone to record the 45 seconds you're about to see.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there. Do you guys see this right here? Do you see this tree? Do you see this right here? See that? He's on public property. Just to show you, there's the street, there's the sidewalk. He's right there's the corner of their property.
A video he says he provided
See that? He is on the concrete. See that? Look at it. Look. Look.
to LCSO and the state attorney's office.
Now, this is the part I want you to watch. This is where the sergeant gets aggressive. This guy is not resisting arrest at all right here. There's no resisting. Absolutely, positively no resisting at all. So those of you that don't know what resisting is, when a law enforcement officer tells you you're under arrest, you're supposed to turn around, or most of us look at the officer and say, well, what did I do? What are you talking about? Why are you taking me to jail? Why are you putting your hands on me? That's probably what this guy's doing in something in that matter. Okay. Because I'm doing what I'm seeing right here is no violence from the perpetrator, the so-called perpetrator. He has not committed any crime that they've proven.
I go to grab his
See that? Now he grabs him.
hand. He's facing me. I'm probably closer than you and I are right now. I mean, as close as you can get to where I can reach out and actually touch you. He yanks away.
What happens is, we all know this, and the Supreme Court has deemed this, that it's an initial jerk that we all have when we get grabbed up, especially when somebody's trying to seize us. And it is a natural reflex. So the first one, we got qualified immunity on. And this is what happens. Remember, if I was defending this guy and I was assisting the attorney, we'd beat this case real fast and we'd sue the hell out of him.
I don't know if when he turns, if he's going to swing.
See that? Look at that. Now he puts him in a headlock after the initial freebie that we get from the Supreme Court.
Or not, I punch him before he can do that.
See, now he admits that he punched him before he's doing it. So now he's gaslighting. He's trying to make this journalist believe that this guy was going to hurt him, and officer safety is superior to everything, which is a lie. And if she doesn't believe that, she's crazy. So that's why the mainstream media kind of, instead of hooking them in and just snatching them out like a fish, they let them babble on, as right now he is not charged, and they don't want to ask the good questions like I would. Why would you have to snatch this guy up? And why didn't the other two officers that was there? Remember, you said you went in to check on these officers and you heard yelling. That was him yelling at the officers. So the officers are standing here and they're watching this happen, ladies and gentlemen. They're watching it. So it is cop-splaining. Yes, it is lying. It is projecting. It is a deflecting. You got it all in this. Listen to it.
Meyer then grabs Samek and takes him to the ground.
There it is. All unnecessary.
Wasn't a clean takedown because he's resisting me. So
see, he's got an answer for everything. He's resisting. That's a lie. We just debunked that lie. Now, I'm sorry. I got to go back to preponderance of the evidence. What's more likely than not likely in this situation? I'm going to tell you what's likely. This police sergeant and those two other officers got butt hurt because this guy stood up for his rights and they didn't have no body cams, and it's our word against his. So let's teach them a lesson. It's attempted cop. We go bite that ass. And that's exactly what they did. So it was a fight between him and the sergeant. And that's why the other two gangsters sat back, as that's what gang members do, isn't it? When two people want to go at it, go on, be all you can be. Y'all know I'm gonna say it like it is.
I sort of stumble, I take him down and I fall. Basically,
I didn't
on
see no
top of
stumble. I
him.
seen a.
What you can't see in Meyer's zoomed in recording is deputies Ritchie and Davidson standing feet away
See that?
watching. Ritchie tells LCSO
That-
investigators he was, quote, evaluating where he could be best used to assist.
You hear that cop explaining bullcrap?
Davidson says he, quote, did not see how it would make a positive effect.
That's the same thing or similar to people that ain't square, that street attitude. The first one is, I'm minding my own business, right? And the other one says, I was watching him minding his own business. Right, guys? I'm moving on.
Do you think you did anything wrong?
I could have acted a little quicker.
In other words, ladies and gentlemen, that is an admission of guilt. I should have been there. I'm a duly sworn in officer, and I did not uphold this guy's rights, and I am guilty. That's what that means. Told you I'm gonna break it all down. Fish out.
In helping Sergeant Meyer detain him. I could not have prevented any injury because I never explicitly watched any injury causing behavior.
So I'm wrestling with this guy and I'm giving him orders to give me his hands. And I give him multiple strikes. I give him probably 3 strikes in the torso areas. He doesn't stop. Still.
Now, as you've seen, let's debunk another lie real quick. He said that he did not see anywhere how he can assist and how he could be valuable. And that none of these guys seen what happened. None of them seen, remember this part right here, while they're watching Sergeant beat this guy in the face. Let me back it up just a tad bit. Right here. Let's go right here. Ready? Oh man, I hate when this. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes these YouTube guidelines here down at the bottom, the red line is not fully 1,000% accurate. All right, let me put this up and let's do this.
Injury.
I said I didn't watch them. Boom, boom.
Explicitly.
Said that. Boom. That right there was 3 punches to the face, and both of them are looking down and at him. They lied. They are now liars, and what they wrote on the reports is here in the state of Michigan. I don't know what it is in Florida, but here in the state of Michigan, if you lie on a citation or a document that it goes to the court or an affidavit, it's a 15-year felony plus an attempted court violation. That's the MC. I think it's MCL 257-744A.
Any injury causing behavior.
So I'm wrestling with this guy and I'm giving him orders to give me his hands. And I give him multiple strikes.
See that?
I
Right
give
in front of
probably
him. But those
3
2 other officers didn't see what happened. They didn't see none of that, guys. That is their testimony.
strikes in the torso areas. He doesn't stop. Still trying to throw me off of him. So I continue. I give him a couple more, 2 or 3. Stop again. Give him another opportunity. Give me your hands. Nope.
Freaking
Give him
Nazis.
a couple more. The other guys in this quick ordeal come up behind and help me dig his hands out. We put him in the car. That was the last time that we saw him, or last time that I.
This is Nazi-ass behavior, y'all. Just wait. I need you guys to pay attention to what these 2 other officers said when we just watched him. Watch them beat him in the face. Listen to the response.
I saw him.
I found Samek at the gas station. He didn't want to be interviewed on camera, but talked to me about what happened. I showed him the surveillance video. Samick argues it's proof he didn't resist and claims at least another one of Meyer's punches you see him throw landed on his face. LCSO Defensive Tactics Coordinator Captain Scott Griffith deemed the level of force used by Meyer in the video, quote, appeared to be in accordance with LCSO policy and procedures.
Told you it was a gang. You know, that's and you know, when we was little C's back in the day, you know, 4 to the sky, snake back 5 must die, folks for life, even to death. Remember that? When we were kids in our little gangs? Yeah. That's what we used to say too. Yeah, think about that for a second.
However, had Davidson and Ritchie intervened, it, quote, could have potentially prevented further injuring Mr. Samick.
No, that would have qualified of them jumping him in the gang. He can't be about no. We can't, he's not a part of our gang. Ain't no way we can't jump him in. That's what that equates.
Samick also tells me and LCSO investigators the use of force didn't stop there, claiming he was struck by 4 deputies while handcuffed.
I believe him. Not because I am on your side and on every, First Amendment auditor out here that is against the police, because I'm not against the police. If you think that I am, you're at the wrong channel. I'm against the mannerisms of police because we got a perfect system in order and we have people that are abusing their power and public trust. I've watched, and many times, especially in the city of Inkster, how where there was no police and how the elderly and how the weak women, they were getting robbed, they were getting killed, taking their garbage out because they didn't have a police force because their city went bankrupt. Don't tell me. I seen it all. And I helped make a change because the reason why that happened is because a Mexican police a corporal beat the crap out of a black suspect while in cuffs. Okay? So our organization, the church that we were in, was reached out by the state police along with 15 other organizations that came in, and we had to try to get people to trust law enforcement again, so it would bring down the homicide rate that was happening to the elderly. The elderly were getting killed and there was nobody to protect them.
There was not a strike, not one, where he was handcuffed and secured.
But Meyer and Davidson can't prove that with the video Meyer chose to record on his personal cell phone. The IA summary shows that Samick was handcuffed at 2 a.m., but he wasn't removed from the gas station and taken to the hospital until 3 a.m. So there is 1 hour that's unaccounted for, and the gas station video is long gone. So the potentially incriminating or exonerating evidence is gone for good.
It's better than nothing. Because if we didn't have that video, they'd be going off of strictly his word.
The amount
Oh my God, they would be going off strictly off the truth. Ain't that a bitch? Excuse my language.
of time that is unaccounted for is
Obscure.
simply us doing paperwork.
An action Davidson admits he can't prove. He also challenges whether Samick was really hurt during his arrest.
I didn't recall seeing any medical expert weigh in on the stage of those fractures and in what stage of healing.
You mentioned like his level of healing. Are you saying it could have happened before you guys had encountered?
See, and this girl she finally gets a set of nuts on her and asked an obvious question that would prove without a shadow of a doubt that this man did not have any physical marks on him, and he admitted it. This pig right here admitted it right here.
Him?
Several transients in the area that know him have reported to us on more than one occasion he is often getting in fights.
You saw him.
Bootlickers do not fall for that. And I'm not trying to call you out your name. I'm just saying, if you're going to sit there and continue to excuse this type of behavior, I don't know what else to call you. I don't know what else to say. I don't know your name, but if you are enabling this narcissistic oppression and this taxation without representation here, okay? If you're enabling all this, shame on you.
10 minutes before that happened, you guys kept going back and forth trying to de-escalate. Did he look like he had injuries to his face when that was happening?
No.
There. He said no. That is a fact. Now we know that they did it because he was in their custody. But listen to, like that one woman said when she wasn't, you know what? I'm not going to get in. I hate politics. It's a good example, but it's a high political time and people get butthurt. So I'm going to leave that be. But he just said no. But listen to the cops blame behind it.
But I can't see. I don't have an X-ray machine.
I don't have an X-ray machine. He didn't have not one marker on him. He just said it. But I don't. He thinks that that's going to clear him. I can't wait until this prosecutor prosecutes these SOBs. And they better. And I think they're going to.
See inside his face.
The IA summary does not.
Look at that. Look at that. You guys trying to tell me that right there just can just here, let me I gotta open my camera up so you guys can see. So he said no, there wasn't no physical marks, but all of a sudden it said something had happened yesterday. There was the action that something happened yesterday. All of a sudden, the action that caused a reaction the next day and said in the back of the cop car, right? God, these people are stupid. A 3-year-old can debunk this. They're more honest than they are. That's why that you can children, I'm telling you, between 3 and like 8, kids are so painfully obvious. Truthful, that is.
Offer a conclusive explanation for Samek's injuries, which include fractures to his jaw and right orbital area.
So I don't know, I can't testify as to what maybe happened in the car. If he was banging his head in the car at some point.
Right.
Despite the findings and
he was
unanswered questions
banging
in the
his head in the car. Okay.
IA summary, Meyer and Davidson don't believe they should have been fired.
And it was always projected.
Only a narcissist would think that way.
At the sheriff's office that if you get into something and you get called into IA or you get called in by a supervisor, and if you tell them the truth and you tell them this is why, that they will take care of you.
They'll lie, manipulate, cheat, steal, and possibly kill as long as you tell them the truth. Man, that's a big, gigantic statement right there of them. That's an omission of guilt, ladies and gentlemen.
I asked 3 independent law enforcement experts to review the information and evidence we've been able to collect. Dave Benson, retired as Director of Law Enforcement Training for the United States State Department in Washington, D.C. Jim Durain is a retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent, and Jeff Myers is the former Fort Myers Police Deputy Chief. They all believe Marcino's decision to fire the deputies was reasonable.
And they may not like it, but sometimes the truth hurts. You can't behave this way and expect that everything's going to be just fine. You have a
ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand. I'm going to stop this right here. I don't understand why this narcissistic oppressor that is agreeing with the findings of them being fired, being ex-law enforcement, and, he has pressed charges on people of, especially the one, assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. It's a 10-year felony. That's the bare minimum this cop should have been charged with. Bare minimum. Because look what he did. That's the outcome. If me and you would have did this in the name of something good, they'd be charging us for it. you damn well bet your rear end you're going to do some time.
It looks like someone's been pummeled, and there's no explanation for how that got there.
There are many different techniques to use. They don't all involve force. The guy's hands were down the whole time. He did not make a threatening gesture.
This is another law enforcement officer that our specialist in the field of force and the justification of using force, and then the definition of excessive force. They're all three basically concurring, and it's more omission of guilt. This is why we need to go after their bonds, and you got to find out who they're bonded by. Go to their bond and find out what insurance company is. Send this video along with the investigation, and all they need to, the bottom line is, you're not dealing with just lawyers, you're dealing with arbitrators looking at the contract. Did he violate the contract? Yes. He used excessive force. That is a payout automatically, and another omission of guilt if you just go after their bonds.
I question why the other officers did not get involved and just kind of stood by. It opens up a lot of questions of what actually went on that evening.
Coming up tomorrow on Wink News, the three law enforcement experts discuss what they say was the biggest mistake made during the use of force arrest. They also weigh in on a video of Sheriff Carmine Marcino that I got exclusively from a source where he appears to be sharing his view on use of force. I'm investigative reporter Salim MacArthur, and that is a story you will only see on Wink News.
There you go, guys. I appreciate these people for bringing it up, and a shout out to Wink News. So again, we find ourselves watching another abuse of authority, another deprivation of rights under the color of law. It's the Title 18. Forget the 1983 for a second. Let's go straight to the law. Title Penal Code 18, 241 and 242 are crimes. And they both have the death penalty attached to them, and they're both floaters. A floater is from 1 to life you could be sentenced to. Okay? And especially when it involves the type of felony assaults that we've seen here, right? To kidnapping, because we know he wasn't guilty of leaving public property, right? 3, the amount of force that was used, it goes against their code of conduct and their bargaining agreement. Okay? 4, they should be charged with multiple felonies. The 2 cops that were standing by, the 2 gang members that we know as cops at that time, right? We know that they were standing around letting the sergeant get his due in because he probably hasn't got one. So, yeah, it was his turn, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just telling you, man, I'm breaking it down from my point of view, and what's more likely than not likely, the state of mind of people. I've been dealing with people like this all my life. I've been poor all my life. I have gotten my rights violated so many times. It's unreal. To where the balance inside my head, my cognitive structure only believes that I can affirm what I could see and what these cases usually turn into and what they are. When I did a 5-year bit and then got that expunged, I was on the inside looking out. There's a lot of exempt policy that they put into place so we couldn't see it that we now know. Because they've been made known. You can't hide nothing. Everything's out there. You just got to search for it. And for you to sit here and to continue to enable this behavior. You do not have to defund the police to change this. There are many ways we can change this just by simply holding these people accountable like everybody else. Get rid of the two-tier justice system. Make these people sign a contract stating that they're going to have their own insurance, let alone the people's insurance. They need to pay for their own insurance so we can go after that insurance, because not always does the insurance company that the city gets is not going to be good enough, because the umbrella that we're talking about may be only $10,000 when it needs to be $300,000 to $400,000. And that's what I'm talking about on these payouts. And it's just simply, we need to pay more attention to what we are trying to get accomplished out here. If we're going to come together, right? If we're going to get people to trust what we say, I will tell you, yes, I have put myself in situations where I have made mistakes in the past. I've acted out. I have not been such a good person at times. But that don't make me evil, nor does that make me a murderer. Nor does that make me violating anybody's rights, because I didn't sign a contract with you. I didn't sign a code of conduct, and I did not give you an oath that I would take care of you. You need to hold them accountable. Okay. And the little stuff that I did back in the day, I'm just going to tell you, it was little auto theft crap when I was 17 years old, 35 years ago. Okay. And the guy pulled a gun on me when I was 19. I took care of my business. I'm not going to lie. You know, it is what it is. If I had to take it back, I'd walk away and run. I'd run, because that stand your ground shit, it don't matter in these situations. These DAs do what they want. But they say 780.972, according to that, that's the law, that, you know, this is why I got my paralegal degree inside Jackson prison, is because I'm never going back. I'm never going back to prison for something that I don't deserve to go to prison for. Okay? I'm a rational person. You could reason with me, and I'll be damned if I'm going to act out or give you an unreasonable protest if just because I'm on a side that wants to get rid of you. I don't want to get rid of you. I know your value, just like I know my value, and people like me. We are all necessary anarchy in this community, and I would appreciate if people would just come to power with that. Get some leadership, and keep your judge of character. Don't worry about what other people think about other people inside this community. We need to stick together. If we don't stick together, law enforcement sees it, and it's a weakness, just like we see them when they don't get along. Just like when their stuff is questioned, it happens all the time, guys. Anyways, I hope everybody had a good turkey day yesterday. God bless. I'm going to read some chat here. Let me go back to Shakar. Shakar's like, "Arr!" Jonathan says, that man doesn't look like a tough guy to me. Uh-huh. He must go. He must have fell. Yeah. He fell down a flight of stairs 3 weeks ago. Movie, speak your mind. Tell the truth. It's your right. Don't let people censor you. I'm not worried about being censored at all. I just, some of these things, man, YouTube, when I continue to use the F word and all that other stuff, I've used too much of it, and they're doing a little bit too much censoring, and I can't get my message out. I'm happy he didn't. Maybe he got dying by bee and had an allergic reaction. Okay. He got stung by a bee. Okay, gotcha. Dead eyes. Yeah. Oh Lord. Mike, national security. Yeah, I gotcha. got stung by a bee. I know I got you, brother. Omission that the people lie to cover up misconduct. Oh yeah, there's definitely omissions. There's tons of that in here. That's why I told you guys in the beginning. Let's use their quorum inside of a courtroom, and let's use the preponderance of the evidence is what it's called. And to define that is what's more likely than not likely to happen. You be the judge. The U.S. has formally fallen out of the top 40 per Castro Institute by the National Rank for Freedom Index. So there's that. Whoa. Okay. Let's see. We used to be the 28th. Gotcha. Thanks, Spot Check News. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Figured if anyone could care, they would be here. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Only thing America is first in is people incarcerated. It's sad. I love the community, and with it stands for. Gotcha. I love my country, guys. Remember, man, our system, this is from my point of view, our system is almost dear perfect. It's the people running it that's scary. Our forefathers have set things in place to counteract the tyranny. People are not willing to come out of their convenient zone, not their comfort zone, their convenient zone. Let's just be straight with that. Yeah, it's attempted murder. It could be assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than a crime of murder was, they could charge him with attempted murder and get him to plead to that. Yeah, you know how they do us. Yeah, yep. You're right, Jonathan. We are also number one in the police injustice, police abuser, police power, excessive force, and all that. Yeah, you got to have a deterrent. Yep, people have been killed by way less. Yes, they have. Yes. You live in a community, you communicate to work, to pay taxes and social security. Net being the banking term is the communist. Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I mean, we're all slaves. And that's why I used the term Spot Check News. If you hear me out, there's a reason why I said it the way I said it. And I want you to go back and listen to it again. No representation for taxation. That's slavery. We're just the least of the slaves in the world. That's why everybody hates America, because they can't be America. They wish they could be America. This is still a great country, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get it twisted. I am not trying to get rid of my country, nor my Constitution. I'm just trying to get people to turn away from their evil, wicked ways and come back to a moral that gives them the energy to back up the United States Constitution and what's right and wrong. They have become morally bankrupt. Free of the nations would exist. Yeah, well, it is what it is. People have their opinions and you're entitled to it. But common sense, to me, there ain't nothing common about sense out there. And these people don't know, and they're going to learn the hard way. The same people we're talking about, defund the police, defund the police. Now they're crying, we need the U.S. Marshals. We need the freaking military. Send in the National Guard. We live in a war zone. That's what I seen in Inkster, just to let you know. I know y'all seen that. If you didn't, you're in denial. That's why they hate the camera. Yeah, exactly. And if you seen the last story where that kid, remember that story where that kid did a flip in midair over that picnic table with the cops? They were telling him, hey, you do understand, you do that again, we're going to arrest you, blah, 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 blah. And while that cop is talking himself into exploiting his supremacy over him, he talked himself into saying, this kid probably recorded it, and now I'm going to make your day even worse. So then he went and tried to commit prior restraint as PC to take a legal action. Not a lawful action, a legal action. It was unlawful, and they violated his Fourth Amendment right. Yeah. See you, Wolvie. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. No problem. No problem. I hope everybody's on the same page, and I try to give people a chance to say what they're saying in these live streams. But hey, God bless. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I'm back quiet reading the mail for show. You got any more comments? See you in the comments section. I'm back quiet.